Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to the online classes. Like as I have informed you in the previous week, okay, we will be having video sessions on practical classes. Okay, and today I am going to introduce you how to analyze a salt. The entire salt analysis of a complete salt is not going to be shown in this video, but I will show the introductory part of it. So the first few things that you must do after getting a salt. Okay, what are the things to be done initially soon after getting a salt? This is what I am going to tell you today through this video. Okay. Okay, and definitely I will be uploading you a scheme of salt analysis, as I have already told you in the previous online session. Okay, so salts, as you know, every single salt is made up of one cation and an anion. Okay. Identification of salt or salt analysis or qualitative analysis means to identify the salt by finding the cation and anion which makes it. Okay, so what our aim is to identify the cation and anion which makes the salt. Okay, so if you are able to identify the cation and anion, that means we can name the salt. The given salt is so and so. We will be able to identify once if you find the name of the cation and anion present in it. Okay, so so here we have a salt. I will take a little bit of the salt. I'll show you. So here you can see this is the salt for today's analysis. Okay, here you have the salt for today's analysis, and the first thing to be taken care of is its color and appearance. Why this is important? Because there are few cations which causes the salt to be colored. For example, copper, cobalt, nickel, etc. Copper, copper salts are normally blue in color, sometimes bluish green in color. Okay, then nickel salts are green in color, cobalt salts are like purple or pink in color. Okay, these are few cations which impart color to the salt. Okay, so noting the color, even though it looks very silly, it is important at some times. Okay, so the first thing to be noticed after getting the salt is its color and appearance. Okay, you can note the color as either colored means particularly you can mention the color blue or green or whatever. Okay, then you can identify the salt maybe. Okay, suppose if it is blue, the salt may be copper. Okay, that is the indication it gives. Then the next thing for salt analysis, even though it is not the next test, is to take this salt with the sodium carbonate extract in the ratio 1:3 to prepare sodium carbonate extract. Okay, so what you will be taking is one spatula. You know what spatula is? This is spatula. One spatula of the salt and 3 spatula of sodium carbonate to be taken into a china dish. This is china dish. Okay, and mix the salt with the sodium carbonate, add plenty of water, keep it for boiling for about 15 minutes. and you will get a get it boiled. At least boil it for 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, keep it for about 15 minutes. That means it will be boiling at least for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, and you will get a solution in which some precipitate may be there, which may settle on standing. If it is not settled, you have to get a clear solution by either through filtration or through centrifugation. That I will explain you what to do with that. Okay, so soon after noting the color and appearance of the salt, what you will be going for is to prepare the sodium carbonate extract. To prepare the sodium carbonate extract, you need to take 1:3 ratio of salt and sodium carbonate. So 1 spatula of salt is taken. Okay, 1 spatula of salt is taken. Then 3 spatulas of sodium carbonate is to be added into it. 3 spatulas of sodium carbonate. This is sodium carbonate. Okay, so this is what I am going to add into this. 3 spatulas of it. Okay. And here I have the mixture of salt and sodium carbonate. Okay, and into that I am going to add water, distilled water. Okay, distilled water is available here in the lab. You will be given a bottle like this. It is called wash bottle. Okay, okay, you have now taken water, sodium carbonate and salt. Now you are going to keep it for boiling. This will take around 10 to 15 minutes. That is the reason why this part is being done initially. Soon after noting the color and appearance, the next thing to be done is the preparation of sodium carbonate extract, as it takes some 15 to 20 minutes of time. So in order to save your time, meanwhile you will be preparing or you will be doing other preliminary tests of the salt. Okay, this solution will be prepared. Okay, that is the reason why sodium carbonate extract preparation is to be given the second priority soon after noting the color and appearance of the salt. Okay, so here we have the mixture. Now I am going to keep it on the Bunsen flame. Okay, it will take about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's kept. That is kept, and now we are going to do the next test, that is the solubility. Okay, solubility, the very term is indicative of it is a test or it is a check of in which solvent the salt is soluble. Okay, normally we use 3 solvents, one after the other, in the order water, dilute HCl and nitric acid. Okay, there are 3 solvents for as of now. Okay, as of your syllabus and scope of study, you will be using only 3 solvents. Okay, first you will be checking the solubility of the salt in water. Next, that also in 2 conditions. Okay, means if the salt is not soluble in normal cold water, you will go for a little bit of heating and check whether the salt is soluble in hot water. Okay, after doing that, if you find the salt soluble, it is not necessary that you will be dissolving it in the next solvent. Okay, so if the given salt is soluble in water, either in hot or cold condition, then there is a second part to that. Okay, that is, you will prepare a little bit of solution of sodium carbonate. Okay, and the already dissolved salt solution will be mixed with the sodium carbonate solution to see if you are getting any precipitate or not. Okay, I am going to perform this test in order to show you. Okay, then you will understand it better. Okay, so as I have told you, we will be taking a little bit of salt in a test tube. Okay, here you have the salt. Salt taken in a test tube and checking the solubility in water. We will be adding water into that. Okay, shake it well to see if the salt gets dissolved or not, and you can see the salt is completely soluble in water in cold condition itself. Okay, so if this doesn't happen, what will be the next step? You will be going for heating. Okay, just you will heat it. Then if still it is not soluble, okay, now then you can proceed for the next solvent. Now here in the first step itself, we got it dissolved in cold normal water. Okay, so there is a second part for this, and when you get a salt dissolved in water, you may definitely doubt that the given salt is either ammonium or sodium or potassium, because we know that all ammonium salts, sodium salts and potassium salts are soluble always in water, isn't it? So in order to get a clear idea on whether the given salt is ammonium, sodium or potassium, and you know sodium and potassium are not there in your syllabus. Okay, so you don't have to worry about sodium salt. You will not be given a sodium or potassium salt. So then what is left? Only ammonium salt. So you can in the very first step itself get a clear idea on whether the given salt is ammonium salt by doing the second part of this test. So here you have the salt solution already, okay, got completely dissolved in water. Now the next step is very important. What is that next step? You will be taking a little bit of sodium carbonate. Okay, just now we have prepared sodium carbonate extract, no, that very same thing, sodium carbonate. A little bit of this is taken. Okay, it is taken in a test tube, another test tube. Okay, and you are adding water into that and you prepare a solution of that. Okay, prepare a solution. Okay, you got a solution, and now the already prepared salt solution is there. This is the already prepared salt solution and this is the sodium carbonate solution. Now you are going to add the clear part of the sodium carbonate solution into this. Okay, and you are getting no precipitate. You are getting no precipitate. That means the given salt is of ammonia. Okay, ammonium salts will not give any precipitate when sodium carbonate solution is added. Okay, if any other salt is taken like lead or aluminum or any other salt, any other salt that contains any other cations other than ammonia will give you a white precipitate. Okay, will give you a precipitate. If you are getting a precipitate, that is indicative of absence of ammonium ion, NH4 plus ion. If you are not getting a precipitate, then that is indicative of presence of NH4 plus ion. So here in this case we have got no precipitate. That means the salt given to us is a ammonium salt. Now in the very first step itself, or in the very second step itself, you have got a clear indication of what the cation is. Okay, now what is left for the cation is the confirmatory test of cation. Okay, that will be doing, that you will be doing, okay, or I will be demonstrating. Okay, so this, what I meant to say is, these initial steps these initial experiment parts are very important. If you do not do the second part, that means addition of sodium carbonate solution into the salt solution, you will miss the hint that clearly gives whether the given salt is ammonium salts or some other salts. If you are not getting a precipitate, you are almost confirmed that the given salt is of ammonium, so cation is almost confirmed. Then what you are left with is only anion that you will be able to easily find, okay, following the test, okay, following the scheme, okay. So this test don't ever skip. This is what I meant to say. I am taking too much of time explaining this again and again, because many I found that this second part, addition of sodium carbonate, is being never done, and they till the last they will keep that doubt whether the given salt is ammonium or something else. That doubt will be eliminated completely if you are doing the second step, that means addition of sodium carbonate into the salt solution if the salt is already soluble in water, okay. Don't ever forget to do this part. Now in order to clarify the solubility with water, once again I will take another salt. This is another salt taken, okay, another salt taken, and now I am going to check the solubility in water, okay. When you check the solubility, when you take the salt for checking the solubility, what you need to do is only take a very little bit of the salt. Very little bit will be enough. Otherwise, if you take too much of the salt, then you may have to add excess of the solvent, and then you may get confused whether it's soluble or not, okay. So better take only very little bit of the salt, okay. So here you can see this salt on adding water got almost dissolved. A little bit is left, to be dissolved. So at least the salt is sparingly or partially soluble, okay. We will transfer this soluble part of the salt into another test tube. We have taken it in another test tube, okay. And as you found it soluble, you may definitely, genuinely, you may have a doubt that the salt can be ammonium, okay. So in order to clear that, what we will be doing is, we will take the sodium carbonate solution. This is what we have prepared earlier, no? Little bit of extra I have prepared, okay. Now this sodium carbonate is to be added into the salt solution, and now it is clearly visible that something white is visible to you. That means it's a formation of a precipitate, and the given salt is not of ammonium, okay. So always make sure whether the given salt is ammonium by this very first or second test itself, okay. So now there is no chance of ammonium ion, you can proceed for the other cations. So this is the preliminary part of it, okay. And the salt, as the salt was soluble in water, we don't have to proceed for any of the other preliminary solubility tests, okay. So the water soluble salt it was. So later when you prepare the original solution means this in whichever solvent the salt is soluble, you prepare a little bit excess of that one, and that is regarded as original solution, okay. And this original solution is always used for the cation analysis. Remember, original solution means the salt dissolved in any of the three mentioned solvents is called as original solution, which is used for the test for cations, not for anions, okay. And now we have done with the solubility. Now what we are going to do is the preliminary test for anions, okay. What we are going to do is the preliminary test for anions. The preliminary test for anions include mainly two steps. Okay, first step is treating the salt or mixing the salt with dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, in some books you may notice that dilute hydrochloric acid also can be used, but it can be at times confusing. So it is preferred that sulfuric acid is used. So what is the next step is to take a little bit of salt in a clean test tube. Always make sure that your apparatus are clean. Okay, otherwise as you are doing many experiments, the remains of the previous experiments, if continue to be there in your test tube, that may give a sort of misbehavior and unexpected results may come. So always use clean apparatus. Okay, clean test tubes, boiling tubes or china dish or whatever, all those apparatus that you are regularly using are to be always clean. Okay, so the next step is to take a little bit of salt in a test tube, then add dilute sulfuric acid into the salt. Okay, so then immediately you start observing it. After adding or while adding, you don't look here and there to waste your time or what others are doing. Instead, you will be noticing every change that happens in the mixture. Okay, so add acid and observe immediately. Okay, so that is what I am going to perform now. Just watch. So here you have a clean boiling tube now. Test tube can also be used. Now this is salt, a little bit of salt is taken in the boiling tube. Now what is the next step is to add dilute sulfuric acid. Here you have dilute sulfuric acid. I am going to add it and I have to observe it if any immediate changes are there or not. For example, if carbonate is the anion present in the salt, on the addition of acid, you know that definitely there will be formation of bubbles of carbon dioxide. Okay, immediate bubbling, or we call it brisk effervescence. Okay, so if this is visible, then definitely you can doubt that the given salt is of carbonate. Anion is immediately identified. Okay, now we are doing the preliminary test for anions after the solubility. Okay, so in the preliminary of anions, there are, as I have told you, mainly two steps. One is the treatment of the salt with the dilute acid. This is not yet over. Okay, now you have added the acid only and nothing is observed. Okay, maybe the salt is getting dissolved and you are not that much concerned about the solubility in dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, but normally evolution of certain gases, that is what is characteristic of this test. Okay, so now as you haven't seen any vigorous reaction going on in the on the addition, now you are going to heat the mixture. Okay, here you have the Bunsen burner, Bunsen flame is there. Okay, you have to heat it. Okay, you are going to heat it. Remember, when you are use test tube holders, otherwise sometimes you may get the solution spilled on your hand. Okay, as I am handling everything singly, I am not doing it presently. Okay, it is safe to use a test tube holder always while heating. Okay, I too will try to use that. As my hand is getting heated up, I am going to use a test tube holder. Okay, and this heating can be done likewise. Okay, and when you are doing it, you make sure that you are not turning the mouth of the boiling tube towards your face or someone else's face. Make sure that you are safe and others are safe too. Okay, so always turn the mouth of the boiling tube towards a safer zone. Okay, so here on heating, you get the evolution of some gases. Can you see something going off? Some smoke like thing is going on, and you smell it. Okay, the first thing you can do is to make the color, find out the color of the gas. The gas is not of any color, you don't find any color. For example, NO2, nitrogen dioxide gas, you have studied in class 10 that nitrogen dioxide is a reddish brown or brown gas, brown fumes are formed. Okay, so nothing of that sort is happening. Now what you do is to smell the evolving gas. So for that, you will not be directly taking the mouth of the test tube to your nose. That is dangerous. Okay, because I have witnessed many such careless handling and the accidents that happens because of that. Okay, so don't ever take the mouth of the test tube near to your nose, or directly don't try to smell it. So what you will do is you will wave the hand, okay, towards your nose so that the evolving gas will reach your nose. Okay, wave the hand at the mouth of the test tube or boiling tube so that the gas reaches your nose and you will get the smell of it. Okay, at this stage with the dilute sulfuric acid, you will be noticing the possibility of any 3 or 4 of the following gases and their identification. Okay, one is the rotten egg smell, which is H2S. Okay, if rotten egg smell is there, that is H2S gas is produced. If vinegar like smell, then that is acetate or acetic acid is being produced, vapors of that. Okay, then if you are getting any reddish brown fumes, as I have told you, reddish brown fumes, it is nitrite. Okay, nitrite, NO3 minus. Okay, if H2S is being produced, that is sulfide, that is because of sulfide. Okay, so rotten egg smell, brown fumes, vinegar like smell, then acetic acid, okay, that is what vinegar like smell. Okay, these are the things to be noticed in the first group. Okay, dilute acid group. Now the next test is of concentrated acid group. For that, the same thing will be repeated, salt will be taken in another clean test tube, or after cleaning the same test tube, okay, take salt, not into this one, not into this mixture. You will be taking another sample of salt in a test tube, then you will be adding concentrated acid into that, then you will check the presence of any gases. Okay, that is what I am going to perform next. Okay, I am going to show that. So in the dilute acid group, we have 4 to 5 anions to be identified, which can be identified. First one is the carbonate, then sulfide if rotten egg smell, then I missed one, that is sulfite. If sulfite anion is there, it would give a burned sulfur smell. It's a very pungent smell. If you smell it, you feel like very much irritated. Your nasal passage will, you feel like burning. Okay, so it's too irritating a smell. Okay, then brown fumes, that is for nitrite, then vinegar like smell, that is acetate. Okay, these are the anions to be identified in dilute acid group: carbonate, sulfide, sulfite, nitrite and acetate. Okay, then in your concentrated acid group, again you have taken salt in another boiling tube. Okay, and here you have concentrated sulfuric acid, which is to be added into it. and you can see an immediate reaction. Okay, you can see the fumes produced. Okay, so these fumes produced can be indicative of an anion. What you will do is you will wave it towards your nose. Okay, you will wave it towards your nose, and if you are getting a very pungent smell, that is indicative. And see, there is no color, it's a colorless gas. Okay, and if you are getting a pungent smell, very pungent smell as I have got now, it is indicative of chloride as the anion. Okay, chloride, bromide, iodide, then nitrate, then even acetate can also be shown in concentrated acid group. It will again give a vinegar like smell. Okay, so these are the anions that comes in concentrated acid group: chloride, bromide, iodide, nitrite in the previous group, dilute acid group, and nitrate in the concentrated acid group, and acetate too. So these many are the anions which can be identified. Okay, for chloride, as I have told you, there will be a very pungent smell which can be even once again tested with a glass rod dipped in ammonia. Okay, take a glass rod, dip it in ammonia, show that glass rod to these evolving vapors. You will find the formation of very dense fumes. That very dense fumes is because of the formation of ammonium chloride. Ammonia combines with the chloride gas which is evolved will give you HCl gas will give you ammonium chloride. Okay, so that is again indicative of the presence of chloride, further confirmed. Okay, definitely we are going to do the confirmatory of all the anions with the sodium carbonate extract that you have prepared, and this video is going to be too lengthy if I go for including the test for anion. That means now we have got a hint of what the anion is, isn't it? It's chloride. Okay, so we will confirm it by doing the test with sodium carbonate extract. That I'll show you in the next class. Okay, so today's all the 4 or 5 tests that you have done, you just keep in mind. First one, checking the salt, for its color and appearance, then the solubility. Okay, then arranging things for sodium carbonate extract. That means taking salt and sodium carbonate in the ratio 1:3 and keeping it for boiling, adding excess of water. Okay, then testing for dilute acid group and concentrated acid group of anions. Okay, there is a third group also of anions. Okay, now we have discussed only of 2 groups. Okay, dilute acid group and concentrated acid group. There is a third group called random group which contains 3 more anions as of your syllabus. Okay, that is oxalate, sulfate and phosphate. Oxalate, sulfate and phosphate. These 3 anions can be tested only with the sodium carbonate extract. That is the reason why preparation of sodium carbonate extract is regarded as a very important procedure. Okay, except carbonate, the confirmatory test of all the other anions are being done with sodium carbonate extract. So preparation of sodium carbonate extract is of great importance, and that is to be done as soon as you get the salt after checking its color and appearance. Okay, and today's class I am winding up, and in the next class I will explain you further with how to do the how to use the sodium carbonate extract, or how to do the confirmatory test with the sodium carbonate extract. Okay, till then be safe at home, stay safe. Thank you.